Apostoł Jan stwierdza już, iż antychrystem jest każdy, kto zaprzecza, że Jezus Chrystus jest Bogiem. Antychrystem jest posąg, czyli bożek na cześć bestii, by wszyscy ludzie oddawali mu pokłon. Spróbujmy teraz zrozumieć tę liczbę. Boga i boskość oznacza liczba 330. Lucyfer zaś z powodu pychy i buntu przeciwko Bogu chciał się wynieść ponad Boga. Stąd też obrał swój znak 660. Liczba ta zatem oznacza Lucyfera, szatana, czyli tego, który powstaje przeciwko Chrystusowi, Antychrysta. 333 skazane jeden raz, tylko napisane, oznacza tajemnicę jedności Boga. Jest jeden. Ile w historii było walki o jedność Boga. Liczba 333 ukazana dwa razy, jakby napisana, oznacza dwie natury. Naturę boską i naturę ludzką zjednoczone w boskiej osobie Jezusa Chrystusa. Liczba 333 napisana trzy razy oznacza tajemnicę trzech osób boskich, czyli wyraża Trójcę Szerszą. Tak więc liczba 333 przedstawiona jeden raz, dwa razy i trzy razy wyraża podstawowe tajemnice katary. Jedność, trójosobość Boga oraz wcielenie, mękę, śmierć i zmartwychwstanie Pana Jezusa. Natomiast cyfra 666 wskazuje zawsze na tego, kto chce je postawić przed Bogiem. Cyfra 606 ukazana jeden raz wyraża, Matka Boża mówi, rok 666. W tym okresie historycznym Antychryst ukazuje się przez zjawisko islamu, który wprost neguje tajemnicę boskiej Trójcy i bóstwo naszego Pana Jezusa. Islam swą siłą militarną szaleje, niszcząc wszystkie dawne społeczności chrześcijańskie. Przeszedł przez Pireneje do Łatie, dopiero Pepin Mały mu przyłożył. Przeszedł Konstantynopol i doszedł aż do Dunaju i przybliżył się do granicy Rzeczpospolitej i do granic Wiednia. Stąd przez wieki Polska była nazywana przedmurzem chrześcijaństwa z tego faktu, że myśmy powstrzymali islam. I teraz mamy dwa przedmurza, bo dalej musimy pilnować granice wschodniej. I teraz nas islam atakuje od zachodu i diabelskie moce. Na warcie, na oczy Polska musi budować kolejne wsparcie dla Kościoła. I jakieś tunele tutaj do Rzymu.
Now, on the other hand, you have what you call the moderate so-called Muslims, who are not moderate at all. Their plan is not to destroy America physically, only spiritually. How do you do that? You take over America with a buyout. In other words, the Saudis, the Islamic world, has the oil, has the petrodollars that you pay them for the oil, which they then reinvest into the American economy. And thirdly, and here comes the whopper, America is being invaded by millions, if not tens of millions of Muslims. Well, let's talk only about economics 101. I think you can all agree with me, numbers are economics. If you have a country or a block of countries that has 300 million people, which is the United States, 310 million, and the Europeans have 350 million people, America has a problem. America must have more population. I don't know if you can feel where I'm going with this. Okay. So America and Canada and Mexico have been discussing something called NAFTA. How many people remember NAFTA? No. NAFTA would be, I'm not defending, I'm just saying this is how the economists talk and think. NAFTA would give the North American continent 500 million people. Okay? Now, so now Europe has a problem. What does Europe do? It's 350 million. Europe is 50 million Muslims, 300 million non-Muslims. I don't want to say Christians because you know the status of Christianity in Europe is pretty bad. Okay. Muslims are buying out all the churches with all closing down. There is a country called Turkey. Turkey has land mostly in Anatolia, which is Asia Minor, and they have also land across the Bosporus in southeastern tip of Europe, the Balkans. So the Turks have a justification when they say that they are Europeans and they want to join the European Union. Now, there are countries like Germany and France don't really want the Turks coming in. Why? Because the Turks are 70 million Muslims, okay? You already have 50 million Muslims, which would be 120 million Muslims and 300 million non-Muslims. But it's more than what you think it is. Because you have 200 million former Soviet citizens in the stands. Remember Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Azerbaijan? There are 6 republics with 200 million people that broke away from the Soviet Union. These people are Turkic. Turkic means they're a little different than the Anatolian Turks, different tribes, but they're all Turks. According to the Turkish government, any Turk from the former Soviet Union can now move to Turkey and get a Turkish passport. Just as Jews can go to Israel, land at Ben Gurion Airport, and immediately get an Israeli passport. The Turks have the same law. If you go into Turkish government buildings in Ankara or Istanbul, and you look at a map of the world, you're going to see many, many countries colored in red, like the Turkish flag, which are not Turkey. That includes the 6 former Soviet republics. It includes all of the lands that the Turks conquered over the last 1,000 years. That's why I think this is also a very important teaching for those who are interested. Turkey at the crossroads. Turkey, I don't know if you know this, controls also 1/6 of communist China. And Saudi Arabia is paying the terrorists who are freedom fighters in Western China to fight against the Chinese, break away against the Chinese. Turkey controlled all the way up to Morocco, meaning Turkey reached the shores of the Atlantic, all of North Africa, Saudi Arabia, the Balkans, Greece, Bulgaria, Romania, Hungary, all the way to the gates of Vienna. How many people remember the gates of Vienna? The history of the gates of Vienna. The Turks were at the gates of Vienna for 200 years until the Polish king and German barons came down and defeated them in 1683. So the Turks want to join the European Union. The total now is 270 million Turks. Who supports this? Obama. Obama wants Turkey to join the European Union. Now, if Turkey joins the European Union, it's, again, forget about religion for a moment. It's 270 million Muslim Turks, plus 50 million who are already there. So how much is that? That's 320 million. The Christians are 300 million versus 320 million Muslims. Guess what? The moment Turkey joins the European Union, Europe becomes a Muslim continent overnight. We don't have to worry about demography. The Muslims take over Europe with 620 million people. So, brothers and sisters, is NAFTA enough? NAFTA is not enough because America is 500 million people. So by bringing in children from Central America and by not putting fences along the border with Mexico, you're basically, yes, inviting more population into the US in order to balance off against what Europe is about to do. Okay, so the United States then, with the Central American republics, is 520 million people. But you're still short 100 million people. How do you get 100 million people? Well, these are the Arabs from the Arab Spring. The Arab Spring, which of course was instigated by the U.S. The Arab Spring was instigated by the U.S. government. The killing of the Christians was instigated by the U.S. government. When you kill the Christians, again, forget about God and forget about religion for a moment. When you kill the Christians in Egypt, the Christians in Egypt are 10 million, the Muslims are 80 million. But the economy of Egypt is in the hands of the Christians. If you kill the Christians, you destroy the economy. If you destroy the economy, the Muslims starve. Okay, the Muslims starve, what do? They leave. Where do they go? America. And by the way, in case you don't really believe me that Obama's a Muslim, let me assure you that everyone in the Middle East, especially the Muslims, know that President Obama's a Muslim. And that he's going to welcome the Muslims into the United States. Okay? So the U.S. Economy needs 100 million people. Egypt is 90 million, less 10 million Christians. The country's going to collapse. It's only a question of time.
Because the Islamic State, this is a group that already controls a large number of oil wells. The exact number is disputed. But it's taking in millions of dollars a day of revenue from these oil wells. Who's buying the oil? Our NATO ally and friend, the Turks.
Yes.
John Kerry asked the Turks to cut it out and to interdict the sales of oil to the Islamic State. They told him no. I mean, from the sale of oil by the Islamic State, and they refused. Why are we an ally of Turkey at all? In what way is Turkey an ally? Turkey was an ally when the Soviet Union was the enemy, and we were in the Cold War, and Turkey was a base next to the Soviet Union that was very useful. Nowadays, we are still operating according to these outmoded Cold War models when they have no more utility in the world. And when Turkey has aided and abetted the Islamic State in numerous ways, because they were the seat of the last caliphate, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, the president of Turkey, wants very much to restore the caliphate. He doesn't want to see it in Mosul or Baghdad. He wants to see it in Istanbul. But he thinks the Islamic State can clear away a lot of the obstacles that he faces in the meantime. The Kurds, Assad, maybe even the Iranians, and then he can roll in and take control of the whole thing. He's not going to help us one bit against the Islamic State. But our whole political discourse about these issues is deformed by this denial and willful ignorance. And so it must end.
Pozwólcie, że zwrócę się do naszych obywateli, żeby czuli się bezpieczni, ponieważ Państwo naopowiadaliście tutaj tyle niestworzonych rzeczy, że ludzie rzeczywiście mogą poczuć się zagrożeni, więc chcę zapewnić wszystkich Polaków, że jesteście Państwo bezpieczni. Rozmawiajmy o faktach i merytorycznie, a nie wprowadzajmy zamętu, chaosu i zamieszania. Na jakich podstawie wy to stwierdzacie? Jakie są fakty? Proszę mówić o faktach. Żadnych argumentów. Co różni ministra Błaszczaka od jego poprzedników z Platformy Obywatelskiej? Różni go to, że środki publiczne przeznaczą na podwyżki dla policjantów. Światowe Dni Młodzieży przygotowania idą bardzo dobrze. szczyt NATO, przygotowania. Polacy, polscy obywatele mogą się czuć bezpiecznie.